Hi students, how are you? It's Principal Reid, and I am here in my backyard enjoying this beautiful sunshine today, and I'm going to read you a little bit more from Piecing Me Together. Chapter 10. I'm on the phone talking to Lily, telling her everything that I did and didn't happen at the women to woman welcome meeting. A name game, she asks. Do they think you're in elementary school? Right, that's how I felt, I tell her. Lily and I talked until her aunt tells her to get off the phone. I hang up as EJ comes out of the kitchen and into the living room to convert the sofa into his bed. There's a knock on the door. I look out the window and I see a woman standing there. EJ, I think someone's here for you. Is it Trina? He spreads the blanket over the pulled-out couch. I take a closer look. It isn't Trina. And on a second look, I think maybe she's lost and needs directions. She's way too pretty to be here for EJ. Her hair is crinkled and wild all over the place, but on purpose. She's somewhere in the middle of thick and big boned. I want to look like that. Instead, I'm just plump. I open the door. Can I help you? I ask. Hi, said the woman. I'm here for Jade. My name's Maxine. Maxine, my mentor? I'm Jade, I said. I stand there looking at her, wondering what she wants. Wondering how it is she can show up at my house in the middle of the night and not at the event earlier this evening. She must expect me to let her in. There's no way I'm letting her see my house. Not with the sofa made up as EJ's bed. Maxine steps forward. I don't move at all. Nice to meet you, Jade, she says. I cross my arms. I'm really sorry about today, she says. I had tons of stuff happen and was completely out of my control and I couldn't make it. Her cell phone rings. She takes it out, pushes a button, and puts it back in her purse. It's okay, I tell her. It's not. But what else am I supposed to say? Do you mind if I come in, she asks. I guard the door. My uncle's watching TV. Oh. But, well, hold on. I close the door, leaving her on the porch. EJ, my mentor's here. Can you go to my room for a second? He looks out the window. She's fine. Wait, I know her. You don't know her. How are you going to tell me who I know, EJ says. I was just talking to my boy John about her today. EJ, will you please go in my room? He finally gets up. I pull the sheets off the sofa, toss them in his closet. I run to the bathroom and grab a can of air freshener and just about emptying it, spraying it in the halls in the living room. EJ starts coughing. Is it that serious? He yells. I pick up his sneakers. Yes, it is. Have you smelled these? I throw the shoes to the closet door too, and then I turn out the lights. I flick the lamp on instead, hoping the darkness will hide how sad our house really is. You owe me, he says, and he walks down the hallway. I open the door. Come in, I said. Sorry to make you wait. I just wanted to meet you and give you this. She hands me a gift bag. Is she trying to buy my forgiveness? I think about giving the gift back to her without even opening it, but then I stop being rude and I remember how upset I was earlier today, how I wanted to meet her, and how now that I have what I want, I need to appreciate it. I open the bag, taking the tissue paper that was neatly folded in it before. I dig in. It's so fancy. I don't want to mess it up. I look inside the bag. Whoa, look at all this stuff. I fan through the different colors of paper, some print and some solids, and I put the oil pastels and the sketchbook out. Thank you. You're welcome, Maxine says, and she lets out a sigh. We're probably thinking the same thing. All is forgiven. I thought you could add your own collage materials. I thought it would be useful. I love it. So tell me what kind of art you make, Maxine says. Well, I like to take things that people usually don't find beautiful and make them beautiful, like blocks here in the villa, or sometimes people in my neighborhood. I don't know how. I get ideas from everywhere. Can I see some of your artwork? I walk over to the bookshelf, I take my sketchbook, and I hand it to her. These are only small collages. I like to make bigger ones on canvas. But sometimes when there's no space, I just make stuff in this, I tell her. Maxine looks through my book. Wow, Jade, you're like a real artist. I mean, it isn't kids' art. You're for real. And she flips through the book and stops on a page of Lily. Part of the collage is old photos from when we were in elementary school. In the image, Lily is standing. Her hands are on her hips, wearing that serious look she always has. The one that says, I can handle anything and nothing's going to stop me. I made the collage the day after her grandmother was buried. I took different scraps of fabric from her grandmother's handkerchiefs and ripped up the extra copy that I had from the funeral program to make a background. This is really, really lovely, Jade. Thank you. I have to tell my sister, Mia, about you. She's an artist and owns a gallery in Jackson Avenue. You two have to meet. Maxine's cell phone rings again and she ignores it, and then seconds later it rings once more. She takes her phone out and looks on the screen to see who's calling. You could answer it, I say. Maybe it's important. Sorry. Give me a minute. Maxine answers the phone. John, she says. So EJ was right. She pauses for a long time, and even though I can't hear what's being said, I know it isn't good. I can tell by her eyes. I can't talk about this right now. Okay, I'm at my mentee's house. Mentee? I didn't like that word. I just wanted to be Jade. I tried acting like I wasn't listening, which is hard to do because the living room is small. I put everything back into the gift bag, even the tissue paper, and I put it on the bookshelf. The whole time I'm thinking how I pictured Maxine would be a woman with a strict eyes and a voice that said she doesn't play around. But instead, Maxine's eyes look nervous and gentle, like she's new to this. But her voice was not mean, but it was rich. Sounded like those St. Francis girls. The way she hung up the phone from John and asked, mind if I sit here? Like she had a problem sitting on the sofa. Like she wishes there was something else to sit on. I mean, yes, it's low. So low you have to rock yourself a few times to build the momentum to get up. But it's not dirty. Her voice, the way she says, how precious is that? The way she looks at my bookshelf. My books are stacked by height and turned into those titles that can be easily seen. I pull a book off the shelf and I hand it to her. I've seen some of these books. I haven't seen some of these books. I have had some of these books since I was in the 4th grade, I tell her. Maxine strains to get up off the couch and walks over to take a closer look at my bookshelf. There are plaques on top of it, some small, some big. All of them have my name on the front and center. Wow, you have a lot of trophies, she said. You're quite a scholar. That's great. I smile. We talk for a while about teachers at St. Francis and how things have changed. I asked Maxine if she liked St. Francis. She said, I loved it. High school was a great experience at St. Francis. How she was a senior class president and how she was on the debate team. Were you a student in Woman to Woman, I asked. No, Maxine said. So she had never been at risk for anything. But when Miss Parker called me, I really wanted to be part of it. It's my way of giving back, I guess. She takes her phone out of her pocket, looks at her text messages on the screen, and puts it away. Miss Parker's always looking out for me. She was the one who convinced me to go to Guatemala. You've been to Guatemala? And Ganya, she said. I was in the study abroad program at St. Francis. You're a junior, right? Isn't this the year students get nominated? Yes, but, well, I don't know when that's happening, I tell her. They haven't announced the nominations or where the trip is yet. I want to go. I don't know how to tell her I went to Miss Parker's office thinking she had good news for me, but instead it was about Woman to Woman, about her. Turns out nominations don't happen until after winter break, so I still have a chance. You really should do it, Maxine tells me. Traveling changes you. It opens up everything in a way you've never imagined, and it makes you appreciate home. Really? I ask. Seems like the more you travel, the more you want to leave Oregon or other places. I don't know. So much bigger, more diverse, more everything. I think everyone dreams of leaving home. But trust me, the cliche is true. I've been to a lot of places, and there's really no place like home. Part of me thinks it's easy for Maxine to say that because home for her probably has never been a tiny 2-bedroom house with a leaking roof. EJ comes into the living room. Max, I thought it was you. EJ, I throw a pillow at him. I just came to get something to drink. Calm down. EJ walks into the kitchen. Hey, EJ, Maxine says. How have you been? My mentor knows my uncle? I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm good, EJ says. You know, still working on my music, trying to finish up this demo with John. EJ comes back into the living room with a can of soda in his hand. Speaking of John, let's not, Maxine said. He told me what went down today. But you two are going to get back together. You always do, EJ says. He cracks the can open. I don't know about that, Maxine says. I wondered what went down today, and if it went on, what went down was why Maxine was supposed to be with me. Did she stand me up because of some drama with her boyfriend? EJ gives Maxine a hug. Well, it's good to see you. Hope it works out. He looks at me. Sorry to interrupt. It's okay. Maxine yawns long. I need to get out of here anyway. She stands and walks to the door. It's nice meeting you, Jade. I'm looking forward to getting to know you. Nice meeting you too. Thanks for the gifts. I can't wait to make something. As soon as I close the door, I go to my room to EJ. Tell me about Maxine. He gets up and walks back into the living room. Didn't you just meet her? Why are you asking me? He turns the TV back on to a murder mystery. I grab the control and turn the volume down. EJ, what do you want to know? Everything. I don't know her like that. I mean, I only know her because she's on and off with my boy John. Sometimes she comes to the show, I'm DJing, or when I go over to John's to make beats, she's there. But they broke up today, so I doubt I'll be seeing her anymore. They broke up today? I'm trying to watch TV, Jade. He takes the control from me and turns the volume back up. I know the kinds of guys that EJ hangs out with. They're the kind that Dad tells me to avoid. The kind EJ says just because I'm hanging out with them doesn't mean I do what they do. I'm regretting saying yes to this mentor program. As far as my mentor has stood me up and become in some sort of drama with her boyfriend, has showed up in the middle of the night with gifts, like that's supposed to make it better, and all of this has me wondering, what have I gotten myself into? Has me wondering, what is this woman really going to teach me? Chapter 11, Good Morning. The radio blares out of the forecast rain. I'm in the kitchen pouring milk into my bowl of cereal. Mom reaches for the carton and pours a splash into her coffee. So I see your mentor came bearing gifts. That was nice of her. She chose the best stuff, Mom. Like the good stuff. I see that, Mom said. She looked at the dry erase board on the fridge and studied the calendar. On Mondays, I'm studying after school for National Honor Society meeting. Wednesday and Thursday, I tutor Josiah. And Friday night, there's a one-on-one mentoring outing with Maxine. Busy week, huh? Always, I say. It'll be worth it, Mom tells me, and she drinks more of her coffee, traces the rim of the mug with her fingers. So, when do I get to meet this mentor of yours? I don't like you coming and going with some stranger I don't know. I don't know, maybe Friday when she comes to pick me up? I finish my last bite, drink my milk, and get up from the table. What's her name again? Maxine. I need her number. I pick up the dry erase marker and write Maxine's number down on the board. Mom always has questions when I meet someone new. In middle school, she hardly let me spend the night at any friend's house, even if she met their parents. She'd say, I don't know what people do in their homes. Mom gets up from the table, washes her plate, and I go to the fridge, and I give her the lunch she's packed. Have a good day, we both say at the same time. When Mom leaves, the door slips out of her hands and slams. EJ doesn't budge. He could sleep through an earthquake. I finish getting ready for school, head out to the bus stop. As I wait for the bus, a woman walks up to me looking confused. She is holding the hand of a young boy who's almost as tall as she is. Excuse me. I recognize an accent. She points to the sign and mimes a question I don't understand. She asks me in a wrinkled flyer, asks me for directions in Spanish. She said she's at the wrong bus stop. I point to the corner and tell her which way to go. She tells me thank you several times. When I get on the bus, I think about how proud Mr. Flores would be. He's always telling us to have a real conversation, and it's the best way to learn foreign language. I think about all the travel words and phrases that he has taught us and how ready I am to use them. I know Mr. Flores thinks he's preparing us for surviving travel abroad, but these questions, my purpose in asking, I'm finding out what I want to know, are right here, right now. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful day. Please continue to read, and Mrs. Reid misses all of you. Bye, everybody.